Welcome to our CAT students, and if you are a CAT student, then you probably know about your PAT that you need to do. You've probably done your phase 1 and now you need to start working on phase 2. So again, we suggest that you go through that walkthrough from the Computer Application Technology YouTube channel. But here are some tips and ideas that you can look at before you start planning your questionnaire. Now, here are the two aspects of the questionnaire that you're going to be marked on. Now, it needs to be created electronically. So you can either do some sort of Google form or Google Doc, there is mentioned that here, or you can do some sort of Word document where you do word processing. My suggestion, obviously speak to your teacher because they're going to be marking it. But if you don't have access to the internet, then the word processing option will be your best bet. And we'll have a video and a link to it of how you can use form controls for that. Or you can use Google Docs or Google Forms, they're called now. So if you don't know how to use Google Forms, there will also be a link to a video series on how to use Google Forms in the description below so that you can learn how to do that. It won't take you too long. I suggest Google Forms purely because then your data capturing is a lot easier to take in. So just two things to take, or a couple of things to take note of. Follow these instructions very carefully. And the key ones that I find students often miss out on is they don't follow this part where you give clear instructions and guide the user. Don't just have a questionnaire, and you must make sure that you've got some clear descriptions and clear instructions on how to fill in your questionnaire, and also divide it up into different sections if possible. So you can have different areas, so it can be divided up into different parts and stuff like that. So there you see different sections are grouped together. So your biographical data, which is your data like if you want to know what grade they're in or their birth date and stuff like that, that can be a different section to your questions. And even your questions can be divided up into different groups. You must have at least 5 questions that don't include the biographical data, and that have questions that are measurable, which we'll talk about now. And make sure that you have 25 completed questionnaires. Make sure that you give it to 25 people to fill in, at least 25. The more the merrier, but at least 25 to make sure that you get that particular mark. So here is a Google form that I've created for a PAT survey. I've used it for any particular topic. You will obviously ask questions relating to your PAT topic. And just a couple of tips that I'm going to give you now that will, because your teachers have done these PATs so many times, we know of the problems that you're probably going to get later on in the PAT. And so I'm going to give you some ideas and things that you can implement now that'll make your life a lot easier later on. Now, the first thing, obviously this is done in a Google form. And the first thing I want to suggest to you is do not ask for the person's name or surname. That is not something that you need. You're not going to do any statistical analysis on that. So that's one reason not to ask for the name. Secondly, if people fill in a survey, they're more likely to be honest if it's anonymous. And thirdly, and this is very important from 2022 onwards, is we now have what's called the POPI Act, which means we want to, or the law says we must protect people's right to privacy and their right to maintain what information they have out there and who is using the information about them. So it gets into a very finicky area if we're going to be asking people for their personal details, like they can identify them. Things like their email address, their cell phone numbers, their names. If we can avoid using those, then we don't have to worry about the POPI Act with regard to this. This is just asking for their opinions. It's anonymous. It can't be traced back to the original person. So try avoid those type of things like email, cell phone number, and name. So don't use those if possible. Another tip, this is tip number 2, do not ask for the age of the person that's doing the survey or the questionnaire. Rather ask for the date of birth. Now, the reason for that is because later on in our Excel, in our maybe even in our Access, we can calculate the age using formulas, and those formulas can get us marks. So do not ask for the age, rather ask for date of birth. So yeah, if your survey is geared particularly at students, because you have access to more students, then you can ask for example, the school, the grade, the city, and that can be your biographical information. Now, I would insert some sort of section over here where you can add, for example, add a section over here. So over here, I'm going to come over there, I'm going to add a section, boom, so that it separates this section from that section. So then you can give this a particular title, information, give it nice descriptions. So make sure that you are using the titles and the descriptions. Even on your questions, you can make sure that you add, for example, there is a part where you can add a description as well if you want to add more information about that particular item. So those are things that you can do. Again, your questions must be measurable. That's the ideal. You don't want to ask open-ended questions too many times. Want questions where they can answer yes or no. So you can say yes or no, or maybe yes, no, maybe. So have options where they can select one of the options. Or you give them a range. They can either 0 times 1 to 3, 4 to 6. If there is a question that's on an opinion, rather give them a scale from 1 to 5, when you can say what the 1 means and what the 5 means, for example. Something like that. How do you feel about this? And give them a scale. Those are also the ones that you can do calculations on. If there's any question like that, you can actually get a physical value. That's really great. So for example, if you can ask them how many times they did something a month, and that is something that they can answer, maybe, or something they do a week, maybe asking how many times do you exercise a week on average, and they can say 3. That number is also very important. Anything to do with numbers is very helpful. And then maybe they can select from a list of options. Maybe they can select multiple options. You can use the checkbox option. All of these tools that are available in Google Forms, there is obviously a video link below which will take you through the steps of how you can set up your Google Form. So those are the tips I recommend. Don't ask for name, email, and phone number. Make sure that you ask for date of birth. Remember, date of birth, not age. Make sure that you've got clear instructions divided up into sections. And when you send this out to the people that are going to fill it out, make sure that this number over there, you see I've got 10 responses. Make sure that gets to 25 at least before you start extracting the data. Okay, so when we're going to get to extract data, we're going to look at the responses and we're going to go get our data from there. So there, we're going to click on that, and that will give us a spreadsheet in Google Sheets. And then we will download that as a physical Excel document, which will have all the data already captured. That's why I prefer the Google Forms option. Again, videos on how to do that will be in the link below. Now that you've got your spreadsheet and all your responses, now what do we do with it in Excel? Well, that'll be in the next video. For more videos related on the cat pat as well as other cat videos, go to our YouTube channel, click on that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. And remember, don't do it the long way. Do it the Mr. Long way.